man. I guess I have maybe an unhealthy fear for things breaking because I see people that move faster than us that really inspire me, and it's almost like they're just way more comfortable being right on that cliffside all the time. And so I feel like I'm maybe like 2 or 3 steps back from that cliffside, making sure that we're not doing anything dumb. But I'm having to almost unlearn that as well because I'm realizing that that is, you know, to be on that cliffside, you're able to be on that cliffside if you're able to make quick and fast decisions and commit to them. So the reason I stay back from the cliffside is because in the past I used to kind of consider, and then never really come to something, and then just like by the time I finally came to something, the problem had grown so big that it created 3 more problems and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd realize just for my mental stability and feeling mentally good about things like right now we're doing like 60, 80 grand or so a month like relatively consistently, and
mm,
that feels good. And we just add
mm,
another like 10 grand or so a month like every single month, like we're on a phenomenal pace. But I realize these crazy pendulum swings of like 80 and then oh my god everything's breaking. It's like run to the front door, bring in clients, run to the back door, like, oh my God, like, let's fix everything. Like,
yeah,
that feels awful to me.
yeah,
And
it does.
I,
Yeah,
awful. I would so much rather, like, clients get better results, operations are smoother, everything's well kept track of when you just, like, brick by brick, like, gradually scale. Like,
hmm
I know plenty of guys, and we may even be talking about the exact same people, that it's like pedal to the metal, let's like swing for the fences, hit grand slams, do 500K this month, let everything break and fix it, and then swing for the
yeah.
fences again. Like
Yeah,
that,
for sure, man. And I think I just have a longer term vision than putting 10 million in the bank in this industry in the next 3 years. Like, I really just want to like learn how to be a great company leader. And like, I feel like I'm like always thinking about like 30 or 35-year-old Trey. Like, I've kind of like written off my 20s. Like, I know I'm going to make a lot of money, but like, dude, like, I don't know. In some senses, like, I think I'll be worth at least 7 or 8 million by the time I turn 30, maybe. But like I'm not even like really dead set on like pushing. I want to learn a bunch of hard lessons and like figure out how to be a great company owner because like I don't know, man. I guess I just have a great relationship with like my dad who I'm actually having on the podcast, and he very much instilled into me. He's like, and this was not to talk me down at all, but he's like, you just don't even know what life's like until you're like 35, bro. Like it's just there's so many things you don't even understand yet. And so I think I come at this with a lot of like humility, of like just gratitude for like being here at all. A lot of the time, like I very much have that attitude of just like I'm just so grateful that I've even figured out how to make money without having a job. Sometimes, like when it all comes back to like the fact that I can call off a day and be with my wife, like bottom level gratitude. Like I mean, it's just a very primal amount of gratitude. It doesn't matter how much money I made that day. The fact that I can do that is amazing to me. That said, I am shooting for the moon this year because I mean, like, why not? Like, I challenged. It was funny. I brought in a new sales team leader who brought in a new closer and a new setter all in like the span of like 6 days. And I was like, all right, let's do 50K next week. And they're like, what? Like, we just got here. And I'm like, let's just do it. And they did it. And they learned a ton while doing it. And I rewarded them highly for it. And I realized it's kind of the same with like 500 for me. It's like if I can do it, I'm gonna learn so much, dude. And I know that those lessons will matter almost more than the money, you
yeah,
know.
agreed.
So yeah,
It was interesting what you said about like taking a step back and just being genuinely like grateful for like what you do. It hit me huge. It was a few weeks ago. It was one of my friends. Shout out to Kevin. He runs icemob.co. They're
mm,
like a ecom brand that does like jewelry and stuff like that. And
mm.
he lives out here in Miami where I do.
I think I've seen this guy.
I bet you have. He's like 18 years old, like does crazy numbers, like Asian dude. You may have seen him. But anyway, it was his birthday. He turned 19, so he's 19 now. And we had a bunch of people fly out for a surprise birthday party. I rented like 2 yachts for him, and we were like, let's have a day, like, let's have some fun. Um,
Hmm
and we rented out, like we surprised them. We had like 20 people fly in from like all over the U.S.
mm.
And we got on the boat, and I was just talking with people, and everyone's like taking pictures, and I'm like, why is everyone taking pictures? And I'm like, it's a Wednesday at 1 p.m. I rented out 2 yachts, and all of my friends that do like online business stuff just flew to Miami on a Wednesday to like
Yeah,
hop
dude.
on a boat in the middle of the week.
Oh, bro.
And I'm like, oh, this is like exactly what I wanted to happen like
Yep.
3 years ago, like everything that was in my head. And this is like extremely normal to me now.
Yeah, dude. That's so sick.
It was a very cool, like, oh wow, this is everything I worked for, and it feels like so normal that I forget.
Yeah, dude, totally. I feel that way all the time. And it almost like I had this like identity crisis because I felt like I'd done everything that I wanted to do almost there for a sec. Like I was like, I'm putting like 100 grand in the bank a month right now, and like I can buy whatever I want. Like I'm prepaying my taxes, like no work. Like I'm like good. You know what I mean? Like and and I was just like, now what? Like there for like 4 months, I had like a total like, now what do I do? And it just came back to like, well, I'm young. I'm really freaking lucky, and I mean, there's a stronger word than freaking, but like I'm trying not to swear so much. I'm really lucky that like I figured this out by now. So like, all right, like why not shoot further? And right around then, I got married and kind of just solidified my personal life a little bit because I always knew that I didn't really want to like really shoot for the moon without like my wife. And I knew that from like a young age, like even when I was like 16 or 17, I was like, I know I want to be married and like have that like center in my life before I do that. So I almost kind of like put a pause on things. Like, all right, like let's just like maintenance mode for like 6 months. Got married, and it was a beautiful wedding, dude. And like one of the things that was very like for me, dude, just being able to like I don't know, something about being able to pay for my own wedding. So it was not a cheap wedding, but it wasn't like 100 grand, but it was like I think it was like 35, 40 grand or something, like all said and done.
Yeah,
And like, I was able to pay for that. And that just and now I didn't pay it all at once. I paid it over the course of like 3 or 4 months in like split payments or whatever, just to make it a little easier.
yeah,
But that was crazy to me. That was insane. And like I got my wife like a beautiful ring and all this stuff that like, yeah, I completely understand that, man. And in some senses, like I think I lose sight of that in pursuit of the growth.
yeah.
But you can't. That's the weird thing is you can't stay there too long because then you're like, oh, I'm good. You know what I mean? So it's almost this like weird dichotomy you have to figure out once you get to this stage of like being really, really grateful, but also still very dissatisfied. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to mentor directly underneath me and learn all the strategies that we've implemented into our students' businesses to help over 100 people reach 6 figures a year, 100 to $999,000 a year, and over I think it's 15 students as of January 2023 to $1 million a year or more, then I want you to go ahead and schedule your completely free consultation with us. There's no pressure to make a decision. We're not going to force your hand. We're just trying to figure out what it is that you need in order to take that next step to either start your online consulting or coaching business in any niche, any industry, or take your existing consulting or coaching business and really scale it to that next level in order to really sustain a business, put a lot of money in the bank very quickly, and serve a lot of people. Okay, so you can use the pinned comment on this video, or if you're listening on our podcast, go to treycockrum.com/schedule-page, and you can check out that page. It's just a simple schedule page. If you fill out a form and we want to know a bit about you, a bit about where you're coming from and what's motivating you to even speak with us so that we can make sure we give you the best options. And if we notice that you're honestly not in the best place to get started, whether that's financially or time constraints or otherwise, we'll make some other suggestions to you, okay? Our reputation is everything to us, so we're only going to really make offers to people we know for a fact that we can help. And even if we don't make you an offer, it will still be some of the best 45 to 60 minutes you've spent on your business this year, because you're going to get a custom strategy and be told exactly what you should do next. Okay, so book your free consultation using the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Or if you're listening on our podcast, treycockrum.com/schedule-page. See you there.